Hi everyone, welcome back to the class. Today we'll be using the Roto tool to separate the backgrounds away. So we'll also have a text animation along with it, making it look like the text is coming from the behind the objects. There's going to be one footage file that I want you guys to download it, so make sure you check out the download file and have that imported into the After Effects, and we can get started. So first, to import the file, you can just click and drag the file into the project window, or you can go to the file and import file. Once you have this, you can click onto the footage, and this will give us briefly basic information: the type of the file, size of the file, we just need to increase it a little bit more, and frame rate of the file, and point in and out, which means the duration. This is 12-second 06 frame. And as we go, it basically gives us where our file is located. And a couple of some basic information. We can also check it at the top. This time, we're not going to create a new composition. We're going to create a composition based on from the size and the frame rate of this video. So what we're going to do is click and drag the movie file on top of the third icon to create a new composition. This will create a composition based on from the duration, the width, and the frame rate, and the pixel aspect ratio of this footage. So we now have this footage over here, but we only want to have up until 10 seconds. So what we're gonna do is, let's go to the composition setting by going to composition setting. Here we can get a brief information about the width and height, pixel aspect ratio, and the frame rate, as well as the resolution and the duration. This we're going to just cut it at 1000, which is going to be 10 seconds long. Click OK. And now our footage is going to end at just 10 seconds. Cool. Alright, so first thing first, we need to separate the bridge area along with the sky. In order for us to do that, I'll just use the middle mouse scroll to kind of zoom out a little bit. Or we can go 50%. We'll click on the footage. We'll go and use the pen tool. I need to zoom in a little bit more because up here, this is where the shape kind of changes. So I'll go here, go out, and move out, and then just make a full cycle, and then make a complete loop, and come back to the first point. Awesome. Once we have that, click on the selection tool, and then click on the name of the layer. We'll duplicate by Control D on the Mac, Control D on the window, sorry, and Command D on the Mac, of course. This one will hit M on your keyboard. This will bring out the mask. Where it says inverted, let's check it. So this will be the sky part of it, as you can see. So we'll right click, rename it to be sky, and we'll rename it, this one, by ground. So we now have sky and the ground part of it. Nice. Let's go ahead and use the text tool to type train, and I'll just go with the white color. Using the selection tool, I'll relocate this and hit R on your keyboard to align it along with the bridge. I think that's actually good. Let me just increase it a little bit. Put it right there. Awesome. I want this to move underneath, or in this case behind the bridge, and come up. So what we're going to do is, we're going to first hit P on your keyboard for the position. Make sure have time indicator in the beginning. Keyframe the position. Bring it to 2 seconds. Actually, to make it simpler, let's go back to the 0 second. Let's bring it down first. and then move to 2 second and just bring this one up. So we'll have this basic animation. But we want to make sure the ground one is sitting on top of the train, so it looks like this. Because the ground one is the bottom one. The sky is the sky top part. Cool. Alright. And then we want to put the wordings here, but want this to be covered up by the train as it passes by. We'll first duplicate the ground layer. We'll rename it to be train. And we'll double click on it. As you double click on it, just take a look at this one. It says composition window here. This is the master window where we see everything that's happening. But if you double click the train layer, notice how it opened up a layer section and it says train. So we're inside this train layer. So on train layer, we want to go to roughly about right there as we start to see the train. And we'll use this tool, Roto brush. If you don't see this, click and hold it. Just make sure you're on the Roto brush. You shouldn't be on the refine edge brush, Roto brush. Use that to roughly draw out the shape of the train, and this will auto. Let me just zoom out a little and hold on the space bar to use the hand tool. Notice how here we have included the bottom part. We don't need that. So what we're gonna do is since I'm using the window, I'm gonna hold down to the Alt, minus this part out, and plus that one out again. Okay, there you go. If you don't hold down any keystrokes, it will be plus. Here too, I moved out a little, but then it has, okay. What was that weird part? There you go. Okay, let's see if the frame is holding up pretty well. We do want to include that. Okay, we'll just do some fine tuning like that. Alright, first couple seconds does matter, but everything else is fine. So we'll go back to the beginning again. We'll hit spacebar to see how everything is playing. Okay, as long as it can hold up this nice solid block right there, that's good. We don't really care about that bush. Alright, cool. Also, I think we can just keep this one going until the end of this 10-second frame mark. This is why I said first couple seconds are important. Alright, as it ends, that's where it is. Okay, because we're going to put a text right there. I noticed this has been extended to this block as well, but again, we don't really care because that we're not going to use this part. We're going to just put it right there. Alright, so once you're done, go to the selection tool and let's come back to this competition window. Click over here and click on the timeline over here. You're not going to see anything unless you come up here, click and type. And then let's get rid of the ground layer and see how it actually looks. Let's hit spacebar. Alright, so our train layer is holding up pretty well. Let's see until the 10 seconds. And boom, there you go. Alright, so we now have train layer on top of the ground layer. So let's turn both layers on. Let's deselect everything and let's go to the text tool. Come right there. And then let's put our initials, and I'm going to change the colors to something else. I'll just briefly choose some orange color and use the selection tool. Scale this thing down. Make sure it's not overlapping this bridge over here. And let's see spacebar. This should sit on top of this train. As you can see, now we can put this underneath the train. So as in the beginning, this will be looking like it's front of the train, but as it passes by, the train is actually on top of that letter. Cool. And that is just stationary, it's not animating at all. Since we rotoed it out, we basically masked the train out. So we could put the text behind the object. Alright, so if you have up until here, you guys can go ahead and render the file. Again, if you have any other questions, please let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next class. Take care.